And now it is my great pleasure to introduce our first speaker this morning. Pastor Bernard Scott is a national and international pastor, leader, and life coach with over 30 years of experience. He is a passionate man connecting men and women to live a life full of integrity. He specializes in cross-cultural influence, impacting men and women from all walks of life. Bernard's captivating delivery inspires leaders and directs them in using their gifts for a higher purpose. Please join me in welcoming Pastor Bernard Scott.
I'd love to meet that guy when he shows up. That was awesome. I don't know who wrote that, but I receive it. Good morning, everybody. It is great to be here. Thankful to Elizabeth and the Foundation United family for allowing me to be here at this time. And so for those of you that don't know me well, which that means most of you, I was born and raised in Niagara Falls, New York. Lived there for 18 years of my life, went to college in Oklahoma, moved to Florida in 1995. Met my wife in 1993, the Queen Elizabeth. She's the original, just so that you know that. It's right here. We got married in 96, and we've been married now for 27 years. Yeah. We don't have any biological children, but we, over 17 years of our marriage, first 17 years, we took in young people, did foster care, and we have a lot of spiritual kids and a lot of spiritual grandkids now. In fact, I have one of our spiritual daughters named her son after me. I have a namesake. His name is Burnard, and he's white, I'm black, and I love him. So, and it's great because he has cheeks just like mine and smile just like mine. And but we've had a very adventurous, very fun life. I had no idea that I would end up being a pastor. Growing up as a child, you think about all the things that you want to do, that you could do, and you dream about all those things. And of course, I did. I was involved in theater. I was an actor for a little bit, and I got involved in music unintentionally. My family was a very musical family, very talented, but that gift didn't fall on me. They all sang, but I couldn't sing. So they gave me drumsticks, and they said, teach yourself. So I learned how to play the drums, began playing the drums and traveling with groups. And then finally one day, I remember I was in high school, and I wanted to be in this musical. But in order to be in a musical, you had to be able to sing. And so I practiced and I prayed. And somehow between the practice and praying, I got a voice, and I began to sing and transitioned from being a drummer to being a singer. Traveled all over the world, recorded albums, sang with people, all that kind of stuff. Had a great time. Music videos, doing all those fun things. And I never thought that the route in life would get me to where I am today. At one point, I was going to go into the Air Force. I served in the Civil Air Patrol for a number of years and thought I would go into the Air Force and, become a businessman or an engineer or something like that. But God had a different plan for me, and I'm thankful for that plan. But what you don't know is that, like all of us, we all have something amazingly in common. So much in common that it would scare some of you. We're like really related. No, I understand. Some of you are thinking, do I need to go do 23andMe and just check? No, we don't have the same mother. Don't worry, we don't have the same mother. But we have one thing in common. That one thing in common is hope. All of us have a story. All of us come from backgrounds that involve a lot of pain. As a child growing up, I grew up in a great home, both parents. I had a two-parent at home, fantastic parents. They're still living today. They run a house of prayer up in New York. And great upbringing. Was raised in church. You would think that that would have been a natural deal for me to be in, but what's interesting is in those early years, beginning at the age of 3, I too was exposed to sexual abuse by people who claim to love God, to claim to be, followers of God. And in that, for a number of years, between ages of 3 and 11, I experienced such trauma. And today, I should be a statistic. But I stand before you, 33 years now as a pastor, serving and people and loving God. Not a statistic, But I want to tell you what's interesting about the journey that I took. There was something on the inside of us that all of us share. There was a drive that I had. There was a motivation that I had. In the midst of all of the struggle, in the midst of all of the pain, there was something that kept me moving forward. There was something that kept me holding on to and believing that there was something better. And you know what it was? Hope. We all share that. We all have that common thing. And there's nothing worse than losing hope. And when you start to talk about, I was thinking about, what would I talk about today? So the other day, running right up until traveling here, I texted Elizabeth Good. I have to say, there's so many Elizabeths here, and so I have to be very specific. I texted her and said, I have no idea what I'm going to talk about. Besides, I'll share a little bit about my story, but I was thinking about this idea of hope, and there was an acronym that just came to me, and this acronym describes hope from my perspective, my life story wrapped up in this four-letter word called hope. And if I was to title this talk to you today, it would be Resilient Hope. Because everything in life challenges us in such a way that it's designed to get us to lose hope. But if we have this resiliency that says, you know what? I'm going to keep pressing on. I'm going to keep pressing through. I'm not going to give up, even when things get difficult. So this idea of resilient hope, the H stands for honor your pain. Honor your pain. Or you can call it honor your plight. When that came to me, I began to think about, what does it mean to even honor your pain? That doesn't make sense. That's kind of crazy thought to think to honor your pain. But I've always had this motto of whatever you honor, you make room for. And whatever you make room for, you can actually reap a benefit from it. And so then I began to think about, what does this mean in my life? Well, my wife has this picture hanging in our house, and it says, when you don't win, you learn. And then I began to think, that's it. Pain, when honored, will reward you. But we have to be willing to honor our pain. And it's just simply just embrace it. How do I do that? I don't ignore it, but I embrace it. I don't suppress it, but I release it. I don't deny it, but I confront it. Now, I didn't always do this. In fact, I was trained in the years that I was growing up, you don't talk about your pain. You hold it. You suck it up. You bear it. You run. You just go. You persevere, but you don't talk about your pain. And then I realized, man, suppressing it only made me more bitter, only made me more angry. The pain was designed to create lies that would change literally. I call it changing my DNA. Because once you believe something, you start to go the direction in which you believe. And the lies would come based on the pain. I'm not worthy. I can't do. And all of these things start to come. And you start to believe that. And for a season, all of a sudden, who you were really meant to be, you're only functioning as a small part of that. I know now that I was wired and made for greatness. I know that. My greatness may not be necessarily what someone else's greatness is. It doesn't matter how big the platform or how much money that's not what matters. Is that you keep moving forward and being the best you that the Creator made. So I learned to honor my pain, not suppress it, but release it, which is a journey because sometimes I get afraid. You're afraid to confront the pain that's in front of you, but healing can't begin until you confront it. It's coming face to face with the pain and going, I hurt. I recognize the hurt. Over and over again, the people, I can't tell you how many times at night, I'd lock every door in my house and windows and check everything twice because I didn't want to make sure that I was secure and safe, that nobody would be able to come. And now that I had control of my life, and this is what was interesting is I had control, so I thought. I blocked everybody out. And what was really guiding my life was the pain. And so now I liked what I had created, but what I had created, the Burnard that I had created, was functioning beneath my potential. My potential was not dictated by my pain. My potential should be dictated by my creator. The creator of something has the right to speak into the life of something. The creator of something has the right to determine its potential. If I put bread in a VCR, I'm not going to get toast. The potential for that VCR, if you even know what that is anymore, you got to know your audience. That VCR would never make toast because that's not its potential. And so I began to learn I got to honor my pain. And hope can be defined as a deep-rooted desire and anticipation for something better. It is a relief that things will improve and that favorable results will manifest. Hope is a natural human instinct. It propels us forward. It encourages us to persevere, to strive for better circumstances. It's an essential aspect of our emotional health. Hope fuels the motivation to set goals and to work towards achieving them. Hope serves as a guiding light, providing individuals with a sense of assurance and trust in divine intervention. Hope offers solace, a sense of connection to a higher purpose, reminding us that we're not alone in our journey. Hope, it fosters resilience, helps individuals find strength and meaning in challenges, circumstances. Hope allows us to keep dreaming. I remember, I told you I come from a very musical family, but I didn't really have that. But I remember dreaming about singing. And I remember dreaming about being on platforms. I just remember dreaming about these talents. But everybody around me, including my parents, I'll tell you a funny story. When I was auditioning for that musical, Cinderella, I got the lead male role, Prince Charming. Come on, somebody, right? Yeah, Prince Charming. I was all excited until I found I had to wear tights and makeup. It was like, what? Wait a second, hold up. Wait a minute, something ain't right. But anyways, what was really funny though is that, okay, so first of all, I was the only African-American that made it into the production. So Cinderella was white, I was black, so my makeup made me look like Michael Jackson. Anyway, so they put layers. I mean, and they made her darker, so it was interesting. It was very interesting. But my parents showed up, and I remember when I went home to tell them, I got the lead role. Remember, I was dreaming. I got the lead role in this musical. My parents were like, what? Do you have to sing? Yes, I do. I get to sing. Is it a comedy? I was like, no, it's not a comedy. I promise you, it's not a comedy. And they were a little nervous. I remember they told me later, they looked at each other and they're like, what has our son gotten himself into? Is he going to be humiliated? And they showed up that first night and they sat in the back because they were like, we don't want our son to be embarrassed. But, they came in the back to support, but they didn't want nobody to know. They were my parents. Anyways, when they came out, I walked out on stage and I started singing the Cinderella. Do I love you because you're beautiful? Right, so I started singing. As I'm singing, my parents are like, next thing you know, they start inviting, because it was several days of this production. There were scouts from Broadway going to be there, all this stuff. And so they started inviting my whole family. They didn't invite anybody leading up to it. But once they heard me, they started inviting everybody. Hope is what allowed me to keep taking steps forward. And it allowed me to be on platforms that I never really thought would happen, but the possibility was there. And the only thing that brought that possibility was hope. And I realized that there's only one source that hope comes from, and it's the Creator, God Himself. It's a beacon that shines through darkness, reminding us of potential for growth and for transformation. I believe that hope plays a significant role even in our spiritual development. As human beings, we're innately driven by a desire for something better, something beyond our current circumstances. And when it comes to spiritual things, hope serves as a guiding force when leading us toward deeper connections, purpose, and meaning in life. So, we talk about the H, which is to honor your pain. And I believe that resilience comes in difficult times because of hope. I believe that it fosters a sense of purpose. And I also believe that it helps us to have faith in the unseen, that there's somebody working for us. There's a God that is working for you and not against you. And the Bible that I read says, if God is for you, who can be against you? Greater is he that is in me than he that is in darkness, or he that is in this world, the forces of evil that are at work. I believe that there has to be a force greater than me, which is God, which gives me the belief in possibilities, which helps me to understand that with God, nothing is impossible. All things are possible. So I honor my pain, which then says I just make room for it, let it flow through me, but then let hope turn that pain into something positive. So then I observe my options. I observe my options. I realized that I was always presented with options. In every obstacle, in every test, in every trial, in every circumstance, there were options. And I get to pick which option I'm going to go. I can live or die. I can be courageous or I can have fear. I can be bitter or I can be better. I start to choose these options. Whatever I choose, my Creator made me so powerful that that path will come to pass. So I have a choice. So I observe my options. Either I quit or I press on. And in these challenging times that we live in, I want to challenge us to do something as you explore your options. Surround yourself with positive influences. See, because of the lies and the patterns that were running in my life, it was kind of tempting me to make choices. I'd choose bad friends because I was hurting, so I'd choose friends that were hurting. And we could all be bitter together. Well, that doesn't help anybody. So then I remember becoming a standout because I realized I'm not going to stay in that pit. I know what happened to me. I know that I should be a victim. But the Creator in me, God, my source, says that I'm victorious. And because I'm victorious, I'm going to function out of that option rather than the other. So while all of my other friends were making those bad choices, they were making alternate choices, they're still struggling in life. Many of the choices that I could have made, I remember running with some friends, and oh man, it was one of those days. I did it one time, but I ran with these guys, and they decided, let's go out into the golf course. Growing up in Niagara Falls, New York, I never even heard of golf course. I didn't care about a golf course, but I decided to go with them on the golf course to cause trouble. We get out there, we're riding on our bikes, we're taking our dirt bikes and we're riding over the sand mounds and all these kind of things. I mean, we're just cutting in front of golfers, going up to golfers' carts, taking their drinks. We're doing all this stuff. Don't judge me. Police come, they're chasing us out on the golf course. Those same friends left me. I'm running for my life. I hide down in this big underground drainage pipe, and I'm down there scared to death. Above me are police looking for me. And all of a sudden I hear noise in this pipe. I look back and this big old rat. And I went, Popo or rat? Okay, which one do I want? I had a come to God moment. And I thought, do I want to spend the rest of my life in a ditch with rats? Or is there something better? And I said, if I get out of here without getting eaten by a rat or getting caught by the police, I will never make this choice again. And I didn't. I made different choices. So I surround myself with positive influences. I focus on the present moment. So often pain causes us to focus on what I should have. Well, I want to brand a t-shirt that says, don't shit on me. I should have. I should have. I should have. Nah. I should have nothing. I'm going to be present in the moment because I can't change what happened yesterday, but I have total control of what happens tomorrow. So focus on the present moment. Engage in activities that bring me joy. You know, there's things that we all have to do in life that we don't necessarily like, but there are things that we do that we absolutely love. And when I'm feeling down, when I'm feeling discouraged, I find those things that I like to do because hope is a very powerful force. And then the last thing is I practice gratitude. I'm thankful for my pain, thankful for the struggle, because I know on the other side of the struggle, something great is going to happen. No one likes to work out. I mean, maybe they do. I'll put it this way. No one likes the pain that comes from working out. But the results, we all like. Now, I'm still working on the results, but I need to exercise. And so I praise God for that. Hope can provide strength and resilience. So we honor our pain. We observe our options. And the P, we pray forward. When I say pray forward, instead of just praying about your current plight, pray into existence the future that you see. Instead of just praying about my pain, change this, make this go away, begin to pray the results you want to see. Like, God, I thank you that I'm going to make it. I'm going to overcome. I'm going to be the best salesman. I'm going to be the best mom. I'm going to be the best dad. You begin to pray those things because like our Creator, He spoke things into existence and we have that same ability. The power of your words you can't underestimate. You can create a path, a road to success with your very words, but you can also create a path to destruction with your same words. So I pray forward. I allow my words to create my reality. I begin to have times of meditation where I begin to take mantras or statements and I begin to speak them over and over again to create a new path, a new thought, a new avenue that I can begin to run and believe and hold on to. And as I begin to allow those words to come out of my mouth, I let them come until I begin to see. The only thing that drives that is hope. Everybody say hope. Some people, it's journaling. I'm not a good journaler. I journal every 5-6 years or so. Find myself catching up. Oh, what happened the last 5 years? Some have rituals or sacred spaces, but here's a powerful one. That's what I love about being out here in Arizona is the connection to nature. It's a very powerful thing to see that all God's creation right here. This is definitely a totally different typography than in Florida. But the connection to nature can help us, remind us that there's something bigger than us. There's something bigger than my pain. There's something bigger than my struggle. And so, here's the last one. Remember, honor your pain. Observe your options. Pray forward. Speak into existence the results that you desire to see. And here's the last one. Expect transformation. Expect transformation. You will never be the same again once you realize hope is driving this thing. God put this desire in us, this hope in us. In the end, I know that I win. In the end, we all win. We are answering to a God who's created the entire universe. Nothing catches him off guard. And so I know that this too will pass. And so because of that, it's not just wishful thinking or blind optimism. It goes beyond that, touching the depths of our souls and igniting a spark within us. When we grasp the true meaning of hope and spirituality, we begin to understand the transformative power and the impact it can have on our lives. That worm goes into a cocoon. And it wraps itself up in darkness. Goes through that process, but then comes out a butterfly. I promise you that transformation, although the pain of darkness isn't fun for a season. You put a seed in the ground, it's in darkness. There's fertilizer. We all have that. When you're going through pain and just fertilizer being dumped on you. That's the politically correct way of saying that. water, drowning. You feel like you're drowning. But that seed has this very powerful thing called hope. I was made to flourish, to be fruitful, and to multiply. So I am going to embrace this darkness. I'm going to embrace this water. I'm going to embrace all of these elements that have me captivated. And all of a sudden, hope busts through that seed, breaks through the dirt, begins to stretch towards the sun. And as it stretches towards the sun, it grows and it grows stronger. And it's taking the elements that you would think would have killed it. He takes those same elements and it allows it to become stronger. And as it's rooted in that same soil it was buried in, that same soil begins to nourish it. And I can look back at my pain and now realize that hope allowed me to endure the pain, but not just endure it, to overcome it and to use it for God's good. So, this driving force, this hope, this cataclysmic thing that we all have in common, let hope continue to flourish. Today in the world, we know there's a lot happening, even the nation of Israel. And people are living in fear. The Jewish people, my heart goes out to them. And the enemy is declaring it a day of rage. And I stand today putting my words out there, declaring it a day of love. We don't have to be moved. I know darkness is dark. We're living in dark days. But the hope within me refuses to bow a knee to evil or to darkness. So my prayer is that we stand and we allow love to just keep flowing through us. We don't make decisions based on fear. We make decisions based on love. What would love do? There's so many people hurting, and what I love about Foundation United, they're providing resources to help deal with the pain so that people can now fulfill their purpose. And we all get to be that. Once you have embraced your own pain and walked through it and now walking in hope, now you can offer it to others. We all get to make that choice. So I encourage you today, let's be hope, receive hope, and give hope. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you.